Ciao, Armanti di Libri, and welcome back to another video. It is my version of Sunday, so it's my last day off for the week. I went to the beach yesterday, had a very great time, but I want to kind of focus on allocating time to my other hobbies. Like, I love reading, and reading is such a nice hobby, but I want to start knitting again. I want to start having like fun playing games without feeling guilty that I'm not reading so I don't hit my reading goal. I want to draw, I want to start drawing again. I've started doing it on my thumbnails. I don't know if you've noticed, but I draw a little version of me. I want to kind of allocate equal time so I'm not doing more than one thing than the other and then feel bad that I'm not getting around to all 800 of my hobbies. I've started knitting again. I'm gonna try and make a patchwork blanket. Granted, this is easier if I crochet. I just don't know how to crochet. I know how to knit. I played some Marvel Rivals yesterday and I started reading You Had Me at Hello by Mari McFarlane. That was the worst probably I've ever done in my life. That is my agenda today, is to do a little bit of everything and not feel guilty about it. What I can do, I can show you my knitting at the moment. So it's a little dark in here, but this is my current knit. This will be a square. So I'm just gonna try and make it about even to its length, which will be 26 rows hypothetically. I'm using this maroon wool, and you might be like, where did I get this wool from? My bookshelf has a little drawer at the bottom that has all of my wool, including my very first patchwork blanket, which is not good. We'll leave that one for now. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make some breakfast and a coffee. I've started to wait an hour before I wake up, before I make my coffee, because apparently it's really bad for you if you have coffee within the first hour that you wake up. I don't think that's ever applied to any Italian ever until me. So I've just been waiting to see if there's any real difference. I can't tell you that there has been, but I don't know what's going on inside here, to be honest. If you've been around for a while, you'll know that I used to make caramel macchiatos from home, and I've really missed them, but I can't find any sugar-free syrup. And I'm not gonna buy a 17 bottle of it from Gloria Jeans. So in the interim, I have vanilla maple syrup. That's sugar-free. Yeah, I had to make sure I will. Anyway, just while I have you here, recently Zuriel, my boyfriend, started listening to Would You Fall in Love With Me Again from Epic the Musical. And last night he showed me a How to Train Your Dragon edit, which I had seen, but we watched it in full. And we were singing it together, and I don't know, shit like that makes me happy, because that is one of my like hyperfixations, I suppose. I mean, it's literally my Discord bio, but also I finished Onyx Storm and I gave it 3.5 stars, which is free on Goodreads, because for 200 pages I like wanted to hit my head into a wall, or I wanted to give myself a self-imposed concussion, and then the rest of it was fine. And then the ending pissed me off. I don't know what possessed me, but I figured it would be a great time to show you my knitting again. It's nearing that kind of square shape that I want it. It's still obviously quite rectangular. Both my grandmothers taught me how to knit, and when I was younger I went, this is kind of fucking boring, I'm gonna go play Minecraft. But then my nan passed away and she would knit all the time, just for fun. And I would go down to her house after school and she'd be in the front room of her house watching Judge Judy with a little knitting project, and part of me in my grief picked up knitting again. I've made one blanket. I attempted to make a beanie. This is gonna make no sense to you if you haven't knit before, but I'm just doing a knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then on the next row I'm doing the opposite. I'm purl, knitting, purl, knitting, purl, knitting. At the end of the day, this is for me. It's not, I think anyone will be impressed with any quality of knit I accomplish, and what might look shit to me might not look shit to anyone else. Do I low-key restart? I think I do. Okay, we're restarting. This is all knitting is. I know I said one man's trash is another man's treasure. I am a perfectionist though, I fear, so I will be doing it again. I actually don't know if I want the squares to be 26 big, to be honest, but... Alright, well that's 20 stitches cast on. I'm gonna start redoing this and you'll see me later. Since today is kind of about my hobbies, I'm now gonna just lump in my interests. If you can hear the lawnmower next door, I'm sorry, but we're gonna be keeping that in. So I'm gonna predict my top 8 for the AFL Premiership. Originally I was gonna do every team, I just can't be fucked. Finishing 8th this year, I think Fremantle might sneak into the 8 this year. They've got such a good lineup of players. I just think they had a couple really key injuries last year and they choked when it really mattered. And I think if they refine that, they'll definitely be making the 8. I think it will be off percentage though. And I think it will be between Freo and Carlton. I think Fremantle will come out on top and finish 8th. Carlton will just miss out. 7th, I think, not to sound biased, I think the Melbourne Football Club will finish 7th this year. We won't have track for the start of the year, but Clayton Oliver has come in and started rejuvenating himself so far this preseason. Gorney's looking good. We got some really good youngsters coming in. Granted, we might be losing Cozzy next year, but I think the boys might put in a little bit more effort this year if it is Cozzy's last year at the D's. So I'm going to put Melbourne at 7th. 6th, I'm going to put the Western Bulldogs at 6th again. I think that they are above the teams that are struggling internally. I think that they have a very good key roster. Granted, Liam Jones did just get injured, but I think the midfield around the Bont is too good, and I think that they alone can carry their defense and their forward line, because a lot of the midfielders are quite versatile, whereas the clubs below, being Fremantle and Melbourne, they've got like a hoodoo mentally. They need to have a really good year to make it, whereas the Doggies are quite consistent in that space. They lose the ones they're not meant to lose, but they come in and they win the ones that are important, like when they're on the brink. So I'm going to put the Doggies at 6th still. 5th, I'm going to put Port Adelaide. Port had a really good year last year, but I think it was a fluke. We're still going to have Gabba round, but Port sucked in Gabba round. Let's be real. I think last year was a really good year for them. I just don't think that they can continue that momentum. 4th, I'm going to put the GWS. They are quite consistent top 4 team. They just choke in the finals. So I'm going to put them at 4th again. They're really good throughout the season with Jesse Hogan in the forward line. It really elevated their entire forward line. You know, you got Green, Koenig, you've got Toby Bedford in there now for some speed, you got Tom Green for some speed and some strength. All around a very rounded out team. They just need to win a couple finals. So I'm going to put them at 4th. I think they'll have a very solid year. 3rd, I'm going to put Geelong. I think with Tom Hawkins retiring, it does eliminate the double threat in Geelong's forward line with him and Jezza. Anyway, with the additions of like Bailey Smith and Jai Clark, I think it gives Geelong a good rounded out team. Geelong's defense is always good. You don't have Zach Tui anymore, so it's really up to the Gufferys and the Stewarts to stand up now. So I think they'll still have a very good year. It's just dependent on how the forward line and the defense cope with really big losses. 2nd, I'm gonna put Sydney Swans. Minor premiers last year, but they choke. They choke so hard. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they've got a couple pre-season injuries as well. Jack Bull is out for the season, and Callum Mills has a hamstring test, and Logan McDonald is on test as well with his ankle, so that could be a possible free outs before the season starts. It's a little concerning. I think Sydney has one of the highest age brackets of the AFL at the moment. A lot of them are quite old, being like 28 to 30. I honestly believe that Brisbane won't have a premiership hangover and they'll still finish at a minor premiership. I don't think they'll win the flag, but I think they'll use that momentum of being doubted after the Las Vegas trip to win the flag, and I think it will only project up. I think they'll win the minor premiership, but I think that they will get double eliminated, or they'll make the final and just be out of steam. I think they'll do it the long way. My biggest hope is that Melbourne make the 8, and me putting them 7th is pure copium. Hi, it's sometime later. I ended up restarting my knitting again, but I have a square. It's kind of a rectangle square, but it is a square nonetheless. I had to refresh my knowledge on how to cast off, but I've done it. It might be to my own detriment that it is not large. My hands hurt, and this is the 3rd time I've started this exact square. It's the only one I have. I'm just gonna wrap this back around itself. I think that's enough knitting for today. Now in chapter 2 of You Had Me at Hello, we're being introduced to the main male character, but my hands really hurt. And because this book is, the spine of this book is really stiff, so you gotta like apply a lot of pressure to keep the pages open, which is inadvertently hurting my hands. I read about a chapter of that before I put it down, and I've just been kind of relaxing since then. I don't know, I'm enjoying it, but it does also feel like my brain is on fire, and I think it might be because I might be in a little bit of a slump after Onyx Storm, but we'll find out. So I just finished playing some Marvel Rivals, but I'm gonna end the video here. My day is basically over. I feel like I did a lot. I did the knitting, I did some reading, I played some games. I feel like overall I'm pretty satisfied with how I've used up my time today, and for the rest of the year I'm gonna keep doing the same sort of thing. I'm at chapter 5 of You Had Me at Hello now. I think I just went a little bit too heavy on the knitting because my hands really do hurt, like quite a lot. So I'm gonna probably take some Nurofen for that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it was a short one. I know I didn't do a lot, but that's kind of what my days off are like at the moment. Let me know about the ASMR thing. I don't know what my plan there is. Until next time, arrivederci.